Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, one of the original investors on Shark Tank. I was also one of the inventors of the infomercial, and I pioneered the as seen on TV business model. And Peter Wolfing has close to 3 decades of experience in the $100 billion e-learning space. He's an expert trainer, mentor, and author of multiple books. One is co-authored with Brian Tracy titled The Will to Win, and is destined to be a bestseller. Peter will also be featured on Times Square TV Live to be aired on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. And over the past 2 decades, Peter has developed online platforms that have attracted a membership base of over 2 million people around the globe. He's been called the Uber of his industry because he's an out-of-the-box thinker and has revolutionized and streamlined the online home-based business model.
Offer, you have something you want to promote, you can just hit a button and send something out to them. So very, very, very important over the next few weeks, the different things he's going to talk about. And you can impart this into any type of business that you're doing. Primarily, we're talking here about digital business, but you can do this for really offline, online, doesn't matter. So important stuff here, guys.
Okay, so let me hear from the audience. What is your list size? Put a number. Don't be shy. If it's only 100, put in 100. If it's 1,000 or 100,000, just put that number in here. 50,000. Good. Good. Well, this is going to be very relevant. Let's talk about list building in 2020. It's way different. The good news is email open rates are much higher than usual. People are reading more email because they also have more time. The bad news is the competition is higher than ever, and the technical delivery challenges are stricter than ever. This is the first of 3 presentations. The first presentation we're calling Email Help Out. The second presentation is Email Conqueror, where we're going to go deep into conquering the hearts and minds of your prospects. And the final is going to be Email Relevance, which is only sending to people on very, very, very narrow things. The big question is, how do we rise above the noise? Well, in my opinion, you have to do things differently. You have to have an attention grabber. You have to be unique and relatable. Other marketers at this point in the presentation, they would say, turn off all distractions, pay attention, sharpen your pencil, take notes. We're going to say, that's not enough. I'd rather you have your phone on, 3 or 4 monitors on. Immerse yourself. Don't just pay attention. Forget about paying attention. Take action. That's far more important than paying attention. Look at the word pay. That's what you're doing with your email. You're paying attention to someone else. The key here is taking action. Don't just take notes. Read our PDF. We're going to send it to you by email, so you don't need to be taking notes. So let me ask everyone a question. Would you like to learn how to turn strangers into buyers? That's really the purpose of this entire series. Let me see a yes in the chat. And Peter, you of course. Okay. So my goal is to give you a system for transforming strangers into rabid buyers and raving superfans profitably and predictively. And we're going to do a deep dive on this psychology next week. But this week, we want to talk about campaigns. What's your most successful email campaign? Please write a story or something in the chat. Or if you're watching us live on Facebook, please put it in the comments below. Now, thanks to Frank Kern for giving me this slide. I have one slide. It's a mercifully brief introduction. That's me. I'm on the cover of Insights magazine. I started my career as a talk show host at MSN, the Microsoft Network. Then I became an SEO and keyword research advisor to authors, celebrities, and small businesses. Then I was a CTO of a tech company, and we pioneered personalization technology. that really was the very first implementation of personalized shopping. You might think Amazon, something of that nature. And then since then, I've created software to help rank in the search engines and my own search engine, EarthGrid. I have my own Facebook course called Facebook Relevance, and my SEO software, Search Triggers, is there. So, result disclaimer, I work with major brands, and they were sponsors of flat screen 3D TVs. Our results are not typical. We've been doing this for a long time. I got started in '94. So take notes and pay attention. Who this is for. Do you have a list? Yes, then okay. Do you have a Facebook account? That's going to become very, very important in part 3. Are you willing to switch technologies? A lot of the technologies that we currently use for emailing are simply not viable any longer. And are you able and organize and focus without distractions? Can you work with a mentor? Okay. Let me see a yes in the chat. After 15 plus years, I discovered the hard way. The hard way is what we've been forced to do for the past 15 years, and the story has not really changed. It's the same old, same old. Landing pages, blogging, capturing leads with an email address, sending them an ebook, bringing them to a webinar, selling them affiliate products. My upfront costs on average are $20,000 per 10,000 leads. And we've all heard that we're supposed to be making $1 per lead, right? Time to take that size of that list was 15 years to build the list. So there's another fellow who's talking right now on this very same topic. That's Mr. Russell Brunson. And he was on for 3 hours the other day and 3 hours today. And so far he's covered 2 topics, both of which I'm not really going to cover more than 5 minutes. And Peter, you and I will just sort of cover this really quickly. The basics. In Russell's previous 3 hours, he covered why you have a list and why should you have a list. And then he talked about what is a lead magnet and why you should have lead magnets. Well, what we're going to cover today, which is I think far more important, is what types of emails. So let's talk about lists. Why have a list? To me, it's a chicken and egg scenario. It's like, why did the chicken cross the road?
The proverbial paradox, right?
Exactly. Now, seriously, folks, well, why have a list? Let me hear some responses. Why do you want a list? And what percentage of your sales come from your list?
Yeah, well, lists, someone put on there, it's heart of your business, is true. So generally, your list is hopefully different types of lists that you have are specific avatars for whatever product you want to sell. So it's a much more targeted, warmed up type of prospect than doing something cold market. They know you, they like you, they trust you. And when you send something out to them, you're going to get a much quicker response. One of the campaigns I had, probably one of the most successful ones I had, was the SociSnap campaign, right? These were people that I had contact with, and I just annihilated everybody in the contest. And for maybe 4 emails, I made probably $8,000–9,000 just from 4 emails, and a lot of heavy lifting, right? But these were specific people that I knew, and they knew me, and I knew what they wanted, and I provided them some great bonuses, which were stuff that they wanted. And the SociSnap product was a great product, and that's the type of thing when you have a great list. And you have a list of people that what their hot buttons are, and you're able to basically supply them with what they want, and they can't help but buy it.
Love it, love it. And Gerald says 10% of his sales come from his list. He wants to diversify, and that's why he's diving into e-marketing. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm going to speak directly to you, Gerald, because I hope that you'll gain some real value tonight that you can immediately apply to your business. And I would love to hear from you next week to see if you were able to put some of these principles into practice. All right. So what is a lead magnet? This is one of the best definitions I've seen before. Basically, a lead magnet is a small chunk of value that solves a specific problem for a specific market that is offered in exchange for an opt-in. So for example, all of you are here tonight. You're here going to receive the PDF. It solves a specific problem. It's helping you with your emails. And so you can just kind of refer back to your notes and sort of recount what we talked about tonight. What would be another lead magnet? One of the best lead magnets I've seen you give away is 22 tips for entrepreneurship, 23 tips on Facebook marketing. So the type of lead magnets that seem to perform the best are the ones that are very, very, very specific. So people know exactly what they are and what they're getting.
Yeah, like I said, the lead magnets are typically targeted specifically for a specific market, and it's not something broadly done over everything. So usually the more specific you are, and rather than trying to be everything for everybody, is the best way to go. So, more targeted.
And we're going to go deep into this next week when we talk more about the psychology. But for now, I just want you to know that you need a lead magnet. It could be yours or someone else's. It could be Peter's lead magnet. It doesn't matter. It's your list, okay? As long as you have the lead magnet, you're good to go. I built a list years ago with a lead magnet called Video Blog Sensation, and it was a PLR product that I bought. And then I went ahead and gave people my free ebook on how to video blog. And then that resulted in my YouTube channel growing, and now it has more than 2.2 million views on the YouTube channel. So lead magnets can also be there to grow your business. Enough on lead magnets. Let's get into the stuff that no one else is talking about, shall we, Peter?
That's right. Let's do it.
All right. There are 3 types of email. My favorite by far is called the transactional email. Then there's the relational email, and then there's the promotional email. The average revenue per transactional email is 2 to 5 times higher than standard bulk email. And this is probably also the least utilized. When I sell a product, that is the receipt that you send someone, that is the transaction. They bought something from you. But let's say you wanted to say, you know what? Since you bought this, I want to teach you how to use my product. Let's say someone just bought SociSnap, one of my software programs. We're in the midst of now preparing an email to all the buyers, and we're saying, you know what? Thank you for buying our product. We're going to be doing a live training, and you can come learn how to use the product absolutely at no cost to you. That's a transactional email. So once you have that in place, you could simply put the link to the replay of the training directly in the receipt. Okay? That is not a promotion, that is a transaction. And that's the least utilized form of email marketing. You don't need to pitch anything. Companies using email to nurture leads generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower cost. So this is the nurturing sequence. And we're going to go more into that next week because we're going to be talking about the psychology of selling. But just file that away. You do need to have a nurturing sequence. And I highly recommend, if you're not the nurturing type, get someone on your team who is and work with them to develop the nurture sequence. Or utilize a template that has embedded psychology of nurturing in it. 66% of consumers have made a purchase online as a direct result of an email marketing message. That is huge. That's 2/3. So in other words, even if you get someone who wants to buy from you and they're sitting there at the computer, your ability to remind them via email, hey, guess what? You were on this page. You missed out. Here's a link to get you right back to the shopping cart. That's called an abandoned cart message. That is really critical. And I think the latest statistic, it's something like 85% of people who are at a shopping cart will abandon the cart. So it's really, really important to be able to retarget those people either with an email or a Facebook ad. But here's the question, but when should you send each type of email and who should you send them to? Well, there are two send types. There's the broadcast versus a triggered email. Broadcasts. There are only two types of emails that should be broadcast to your entire database. One, like big e-blast per week, which would be a promotion. And a promotion has within it the idea of coupon or discount with a timed expiration. So in other words, if you're doing it as a courtesy to your subscribers, okay, to give them a discount, that's going to do a lot better than saying, hey, guess what? Buy my product. That's the whole idea behind coupons. So newsletters. A newsletter, emphasize the word news. A newsletter is not to promote. A newsletter is to inform. Once again, what you want to do is have your broadcasts inform and promote, give discounts, and that goes to your entire database. So let's talk about autoresponders, okay? We have grown up now in a society where autoresponders, bots, and everything like that, and I got bad news, guys. People are immune to them. They can spot them a mile away, okay? While they can be triggered by a specific action, the key thing, in my opinion, is what we now call in the industry behavioral targeting. Let's talk about triggers. Remember this, just because you can trigger something doesn't mean you should, all right? So let me ask you all a question. Since we're talking about email, we need to start with list building, right? Let me hear from you guys in the chat.
Well, that's what you would normally think, right?
Well, Gerald got it right. Wrong. Okay? Wrong. We don't start with list building. This is the great big lie. The money is in the list. Fact. Most marketers focus on growing their email list and spend very little thought or effort on how they're going to make money from that list once they have it. And there's other people out there right now that are all talking about list building because it's popular. I was listening to another class the other day, and the person said absolutely nothing that I hadn't already heard before. And everyone in the chat was going, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. I said, you know what? All they're doing is spouting the great big lie. Build your list, build your list, build your list. Okay, so now, if you were going to write one thing down, this would be it. Your number one and only priority is to determine how you will monetize a new lead or subscriber once you have it. That's it, period. Let me restate that. Your number one priority is to determine how you will monetize a new lead or subscriber once you have it.
You know, you have a lead, and so you have to specifically decide, how am I going to make money from this? What am I going to do? And some steps according to that. So that's your number one priority. You know, how are you going to nurture it, to be able to develop it, to be able to get as much out of it as possible while still servicing them and giving them what they want as well too. Because it's not just about you making money, it's about you giving a product that they're going to be able to need and a fair exchange of product for money.
Exactly. Exactly. So a corollary to this are two big mistakes most marketers make when building their email lists. And there's a third one too that I'm going to add to it. All right. Mistake number one is they fail to follow up with new subscribers. Someone just joined your list and they haven't heard from you within 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Now, typically, you would have an autoresponder that will do that. But if you heard what I said earlier, unless you update your autoresponder all the time, it's going to be kind of boring and uninteresting. I'm going to show you guys some secrets that I use that have really, really changed the game of my business. And I'm also going to show you how I'm using them with Peter. Okay. You can follow up with new subscribers without using an autoresponder, and there is a better way to do that. Let me know in the chat if you'd like to know what that is. Just say yes, okay? Mistake number 2, they send the exact same email to everyone on their list. Okay, that's something Peter and I have been guilty of for the last 15 years, and now we're starting to change that, okay? Yes, Peter?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I've done that all the time, just sending one mass email to everybody when it's more a specific email to specific smaller lists.
Yeah. I'm actually starting a comedy show called burnmylist.com. It stars Boris. He's Borat's cousin, and it goes kind of like this. Greetings, this Boris. Welcome to burnmylist.com. We will show you how to blast your list so that everyone will either buy your products or unsubscribe. Click the button below and get on our list, and I guarantee you we will spam you and sell your name to the highest bidder. Thank you for watching. Sign up at burnmylist.com. Now, all kidding aside, I just wanted to drive that point home. Mistake number 3 is they use the wrong software. Did you know that the sender reputation is based on your email software that you use? Almost every single provider, and there's been new services that's come on the scene. You and I, Peter, you know, we've even promoted some of them. During beta, we were getting insanely good open rates. You remember that, Peter?
Yeah.
And then as soon as the product launches, a few marketers get a hold of the product, and all of a sudden the email open rates are down to 1%, 2%, 3%. Because the big email companies catch on and go, oh yeah, the sender reputation is there. Okay, so you can't do anything about your mail provider's sender reputation, but what you can do is work on your SPF. SPF is probably the most important thing I can teach you guys today. And it's called the Sender Policy Framework. Basically, it says, I, Peter, at peterwolfing.com, have hired this company, whether it's Aweber, GetResponse, SendLane, SendGrid, it doesn't matter. This is going to be my agent, but they're sending on my behalf. So please don't take their reputation. I want to build my own reputation. Now, Google will take that into consideration. All right, so let's talk about 3 secrets. Authority always wins. Your goal, my friends, is to focus on generating $1 per subscriber per month. So let's say you spend $3 to attract a subscriber, you're break even after 90 days. That's the business model. Are you able to achieve it? Well, you need really good products in order to achieve that. And if you're a member of any clubs that offer these kind of things, hint, hint, then you want to become an affiliate for those clubs and utilize their funnels to help bring more customers into your list. So the key here, my friends, is becoming an authority. And so how can you become an authority? And I know, Peter, you spent 5 figures last year, maybe even 6 on becoming an authority.
Yeah.
Let's look at the word authority, right? Authority has the word author. Like I'm a best-selling author in 2 books. They're anthologies, kind of like Chicken Soup, but in business, okay? So the simplest way is to get included in an anthology because then you have bestseller status. If you're an author, you have to write a book, write a blog post, write a script, write an article, okay? I love write a script. I just finished watching the Netflix show Hollywood last night. Great show. And that's another way to become an authority. Every single one of the people in that movie, even though they made literally no money from the movie, they're now authorities and they can write their own ticket forever. That's how Hollywood works. That's how authors work, okay? So let me leave you with one word of advice before we move on to the next secret. Do not work alone on your emails. Peter and I work together, okay? We send emails back and forth. We throw them in a Google Doc. And I always get a second or third opinion. I have 2 or 3 other trusted advisors that I say, hey, you know what? Am I being a little bit too pushy here with my email? Okay? Collaboration with a different personality is key.
Well, yeah, we use the Google Docs all the time. You know, you send it to me, and and what do you think? And I rewrite it, and you send it back, and you say, oh, I'd like to maybe let me change this and change back. So we go like 4 or 5 different iterations of the same email back and forth, and before you know it, it's much different but much better. Almost like a email mastermind back and forth.
Yeah. Awesome. So secret number 2 is use the right club. Okay. One of the reasons why Tiger Woods is such a great golfer is he really knows what club to use for what type of shot. And all the great golfers do that. Okay. Now I'm going to give you guys a little shameless plug. SociSnap is my product. And why would you want SociSnap? Well, in the context of this is an email. You remember I gave you this email today, right, Peter?
Yeah.
And I shared this code with you because this was the email that I sent that we've had a bigger attendance today than ever before. List Building 2020, want this new course for free? Now, I did borrow that subject line from another marketer, but here's the problem. The word for and free in the subject line is going to cause spam filters to trigger. So what is SociSnap? Well, it's an emoji editor, and it has a magic button. I'm going to bring up the laser pointer right here. When you click this magic button, what it does is it bolds this, okay? Well, what you can do with your emails is when it's bolded in social media, when you copy and paste this into whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, even I can do it right now inside of the webinar chat. Maybe Peter, you could go grab that little, go grab something and snap it up and paste it into the chat just to show people. The bold is a character. So this is not actually the letter F. This is the emoji of the letter F. So to human eyes, it appears as an F. But to an email anti-spam bot, it just looks like random characters. So they only see List Building 2020, want this new course. They don't see the for free. Okay, this is just emoji, 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 space, emoji, 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 right? The worst that'll happen is you get spam for emojis, but they're not, to my knowledge, sophisticated enough in their bots to be able to track these words. We put more than 500 words in our anti-spam dictionary. If you just go to SociSnap.com, you can get more information there.
Guys, I did that in the SociSnap in about 30 seconds to a minute, and you can see the difference between just texting just sending a plain typing text and this, and it works in practically everything that you can think of, comments and posts and YouTube and everything. Just even you see here with Zoom. So it makes your stuff stand out, because I always say that good is good, better is better, but different is best. And this is different, right? Underlines, bold, italicized, emojis, things like that. And you want to stand out. So just 2 or 3 posts or comments that make you a sale will pay for this product in a heartbeat. It's such a great tool. And that's the reason why I sold so many of them when it first came out. And that was the first version of this software. Now it's much more powerful.
Yeah, and guess what? We're just improving it again. We have a new build coming out this weekend, so I'm so excited about that. Okay, so let's talk about business class email. What is business class email? Well, simply said, it's something like victor@socisnap.com, which is actually my email address. Okay, it's one of my email addresses. Or victor@victorgrant.com, or Peter Wolfing at peterwolfing.com. Okay, but out of 100,000 emails, one of my lists, it's about 100,000. I ran it through my little magic email rebuild my list software. 23% is Gmail, 21% was Yahoo, 19% was Hotmail. Other free email accounts was 19%, and business class was 18%. So that means that 82% of my email is pretty much undeliverable in bulk. Let's round it up. Let's say 20% of my list. Well, I went back through my customers and I went through all of the revenue of our company, okay? 80% of our revenue comes from 20% of our list. I said, Peter, you know what? I love Monty Python. I'm gonna start a crusade, okay? I'm gonna grab some coconuts. I'm gonna get some people together and we're gonna start a crusade. Who wants to join the crusade? Okay.
Victor, I'll be the guy on the side with the coconuts.
Well, no, you're the king. You're the king with the helmet on, right? I got to be John Cleese, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're definitely John Cleese. That's for sure.
Right. I love that movie. All right, let's talk about open rates, okay? And this is where a lot of people are confused. Typically, it's the total number of opens out of the number of emails sent, and it's not unique. So I encourage all of you to test, okay? But what would you test? You want to test the sender, which is actually the most important thing to test. The subject line, and then something called the pre-header. Here's a recent email that we did, okay? So you want to test your sender, your subject, and your pre-header, and you need to basically test all of these things. So who wants to be a pro? Let me hear a yes from the chat. Actually, put pro in the chat if you guys want to be pros. Do not use autoresponder sequences made by others. Why not? I can give you at least 10 reasons why not, but Peter, I want to hear why you think.
Well, you said before, because you're trying to use smaller lists to target people specifically, and if you're using overused generic, then the filters get used to it and they understand where it's coming from, and then your rates go way down. And it's not specifically targeted to the group that you have. It's more like a generic thing. So it's not good.
Yeah, that's a really good reason. That's probably the number one reason. But on the technical side, every phrase that you send in an email has what's called a checksum. So let's say we have this thing like intentional mentoring. Gmail takes that and it attributes a number to it. Every time that phrase intentional mentoring shows up repetitively over and over and over again, anytime something happens multiple times, it adds a new checksum to the database, okay? So now intentional mentoring has its own little sort of unique identifier. If all of a sudden other people start mailing intentional mentoring, eventually anyone who mails to Gmail using the phrase intentional mentoring will end up in spam because it has already profiled that that's the word that you're using. So if you're using a phrase that someone else made, then it's really easy for them to identify it. Well, the question is, what can you use instead? Something called tags. And now, Peter, this is an actual stats from an email that you and I sent. Take a look at the difference before with or without tags. You see the difference?
Yeah, big difference, yeah.
Now, let me talk about this, okay? The size of the audience is certainly a factor. But here's the thing. Because we sent it to 1,132 people with the same content, the email provider has already learned the words intentional mentoring. And so that's why this one delivered so much better. And I know it's really, really painful to realize this, but that's only the case when your recipients or your list is with one of the big free email services. Now, the click rate is based on how well we wrote our letter, the content of the email itself, getting people to click. And as you can see, we're getting really high click rates because together, Peter and I are a force of nature when it comes to copywriting. But if we can't even get the email to be opened, which means the person never even saw the letter, okay? That's because of this network filtering, as it's called. Now, I'm going to show you guys some insane numbers, okay? Every Monday, Peter and I do a conference call. Those of you who are doing network marketing, affiliate marketing, home-based businesses, please do this because we've never seen numbers this good. I'm going to first show you the numbers. I'm going to go back to it. We got 105.6% open rate with a 21.1% click-through rate across the board. Is that pretty insane or what, Peter?
Yeah, 105 is crazy. I asked you about that before.
Well, I checked the numbers, and on average, we had one person open each email twice. The first time they opened it on their phone, and the second time they opened it on their computer. Now, I can show you the structure of the email was really nice. It has a nice logo. It has a variable that addresses them by their name. It thanks them for requesting access because that's what they did, okay? Then it has the brand, okay? And most people just click on this initial link. We tested which link is right there, okay? And at this point right now, with this and our follow-up sequence, we've pretty much had every single person click through and watch the video that we promised them on the call. My friends, the opt-in process has changed. You can go place an ad on Facebook, let's say, and instead of putting a link, you put a dial-in number. Hey, we're having a call. Intentional mentoring, here's the number, dial in. Okay? Offer a gift during the call. Deliver the gift. Okay? Now, this is the key. Follow up only to people who took the gift. Okay? If you attempt to follow up to people who haven't yet processed the gift, that's where you're going to start running into problems. And that's why we use tags. Okay? That's why there's tactics. 3 steps. Fire the cannon over the bow and track your tags. Nurture those who click. Okay? The key is the click. It's not the open. Okay? Give them a value journey. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. We're going to go deep into it next week. Target the sales at the end of the nurture cycle with email and Facebook. Upload your leads of your emails into Facebook and run ads to them. That's what I taught people how to do in Facebook Relevance. So yes, it is more work, but it's worth it. If you guys need help, that's what I'm here for. Once you have a winner, okay, once you have a winning campaign, and Peter, you and I are almost to that point. We've now been running this campaign, pretty much for like a week and a half. We're about to move into automation. And we're going to automate the winners, okay? And that's where we use software. And the key is to automate just one step. Now I'm going to show you exactly the steps that you want to do. I'm going to bring up my pen, okay? That was our call. This is where they visited our website and they opted in. And this is where they actually got the video at Intentional Mentoring. The email sequence actually is here. And there are 3 emails in this sequence. The only goal of the email sequence is to see, hey, did you get the video? Did you watch the video? Hey, did you watch the video? Hey, by the way, did you watch the video? Did you watch the video? Did you watch the video? We're not saying, hey, did you watch the video? Here's where you go buy. No, this comes maybe a few days later. You want to basically build a sequence for each one of these steps in between. And you'll have multiple emails in between each step. Once they made a purchase, that's when you teach them how to use. Okay? You don't immediately sell them another product. You teach them how to use the product.
Yeah, it's what they call the space between the spaces. You know, it's the interim between larger actions. Just you have smaller actions which are more like the glue that are going to hold them together in between the larger transactions, right? Teaching people how to do something or how to use it to get them started and to have them be engaged and eventually become a huge advocate for yourself.
Secret number 3 is practice your swing. And if I had to say 3 things that I would say how you want to succeed online, there's 3 things you need. You need coaching, you need great software, and you need traffic. What's nice about being an affiliate is you can earn as you learn. You get typically free mentoring from your coach because they are getting a commission because they're your upline. You can tap into a community and you can leapfrog to an authority. Allows you to win contests and have social influence. And that's another way you can become an authority. So I'm sought after to promote launches now because it's on public record now. When anyone sees me applying to promote their product, they say, man, this guy Vic, he's a rock star. He's got more than 500 sales in this network and that network and that network. You know, you got to get to that point. So I'm going to have a few more slides about my secret ninja tool. And then this tool is not for sale. I'm calling it Rebuild My List. Okay. And so I uploaded a Zoom meeting. And what it does is it basically will separate all of my emails into business class, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, and AOL, and allowing me to download these and separate the list into these different segments. And I guarantee you, if you start focusing on your business class, because that's your lowest risk group, okay? The worst that they will do is unsubscribe. If you send too many emails to Gmail, Hotmail, and Yahoo and AOL, you can get your domain blacklisted, okay? And you're also giving them data on your phrases. So there's 3 tools you'll need. Autoresponder software, you'll need your sender policy framework set up, and that has to be set up with the autoresponder tool that you choose to use. And then the SociSnap tool to help you craft better emails to make sure that you don't also trigger those phrases that are already known to cause the spam filters. So if you want to know more about Sender Policy Framework, I have a search engine. You're welcome to look it up. Just type in, what is Sender Policy Framework? So I promised all of you a gift if you stuck around to the very end, and this is going to be your homework assignment between now and next week. There's no gate, so you just head on over to egr.me/IAS. This is my buddy Jimmy Kim's ebook called Inbox Better, the best practices for email marketers, how to maximize open rates, engagement, CTR, and drive more sales and more profit. It's a completely complimentary 30-page ebook. It's what I used. It's what we built SociSnap on. There's a link to go see the 500 words, but don't worry, all those words are already programmed. And pretty soon you're going to start to see 69% open rates, high click-through rates. What you email will determine your success or failure. So thank you for coming out tonight. And I just want to ask Peter if it's okay if I have permission to make people a special offer here tonight, because some people may want to have a little bit of personal time with me to help them. Is that okay with you, Peter, real quick?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. I have a program that many people have purchased in the past called the Quick Win Program. It sells for $5.99. It's really simple. We have an agency. Our minimum in our agency is $1,500. We realize that most of the problems that we solve, we can do in much less time. And by the time we actually send you a contract for $1,500, we could already solve your problem. So we came up with this Quick Win Program. And it's one win. Let's say it's set up your Facebook account. That's one win. Set up we do this a lot, like an Amazon AWS mail server where you can send bulk mail through Amazon. That's a quick win. Or we set up your email account. In this case, we could help you make a simple 5 or 6 email follow-up campaign for your lead magnet. I'm offering a 25% discount for people through emailhelpout.com. There's a coupon you need to enter to get the 25% off. If you guys would like the coupon for the quick win, just put quick win in the chat and I'll send you the coupon. And if you want the email help out coupon, then just put help out in the chat and I will send you that coupon. But basically that's an emailed quick audit. I'm going to go into whatever email program you're using, whether it's MailChimp, Aweber, SendLane, GetResponse, or whatever. You know, Peter, I did this for you, and I think I saved you $250 a month on your GetResponse bill. You remember that?
Yeah, big time. Big time.
You were spending more like $300 a month on GetResponse, and I went in there and fixed and cleaned it up, and now it's like, I don't know, I think you're paying like $50 a month. So list segmentation, all these things, I can go take care of this with you with the software that we use in-house for our clients. But the access to that is emailhelpout.com. And so you just put your email in there. That's going to send you the PDF of the slides of this. We've seen a big increase on your open rates and your click-through rates since we've been sort of focusing and segmenting your list into like little bite-sized chunks. And so you're only emailing people who are interested and not emailing the people who are not. It's so important that you do not email people who are not getting your mail. If you continue to mail to those segments of Gmail people who don't know how to find their spam folder, what's going to end up happening, it's going to prevent your brand new people from even seeing your letters. Okay. So it's so important to also give special discounts and coupons to your business class customers, because these people, you don't have these restrictions. GoDaddy, for example, the biggest email provider in the world, still to this day, a business class email. Your GoDaddy email does not have, it has a spam filter, yes, but it doesn't have a network filter, because it's tied to your .com address, okay? And so it's fine to localize the risk to a user by user or company by company basis. But if all of your emails or your opt-ins are free users, you have a huge liability to email to anyone in broadcast. I would even go so far as to say that I wouldn't recommend people do broadcasts at all in this time, because as we saw, even in the little testing that we did with as little as 1,100 emails, our future delivery of the emails is impacted because we sent out that 1,000. It's crazy, Peter.
Yeah, well, now it's increased so much because everybody's home from the quarantine, right? So the increase in emails and so on are causing a lot more problems with deliverability and everything too. So yeah, it's a tough problem to have. The tips you gave today are fantastic, and this is only a portion of the rest. So make sure you guys come next week. If you're a member of Daily Digital Club, then you also get the replays. You get access to all the replays. So make sure you're a member of that, and contact Victor if you don't know what that is. And this way he'll tell you more about that. But we've changed it from 4 o'clock Eastern time to 7 o'clock Eastern time every Thursday. So put it on your calendar. It's the same link every week. Don't wait for us to broadcast it out. It's going to be here. So 7 o'clock for the live broadcast. And again, if you want the replays, then you have to be a paid member of one of our programs that we had, Daily Digital or Intentional Mentoring or whatever we have available there.
And our replays are only for members. How many of you here are not in the Daily Digital Club or don't know what that is? Could you put a 2 in the chat if you're not in the Daily Digital Club and you'd like to know what that is? Wow, lots of people. Yeah, I did a lot of mailing. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Daily Digital. So we've all heard of membership sites, okay? So the membership site, we've also heard of coaching programs. Well, okay, so I'm part of several coaching programs. I've been in Ryan Dice's coaching program, which is like $100 a month, give or change, okay? I've been in Russell Brunson's coaching program, which is otherwise known as ClickFunnels. That's $100 a month. Well, what all these coaching programs have in common is they're right around $100 a month. Well, what do you really get for that? Well, you typically get a piece of software, or you get webinar replays, or you get usually like a private Facebook group. So Peter and I put our heads together and we said, okay, what could we give people that's like a membership site where they don't actually have to build their own content? What if they just sold our content and they got 100% of the commissions by selling our content? And that basically is how we came up with the Daily Digital Club. It actually is a relaunch of a club you had years ago, and it grew to like millions of users or something like that.
Yeah, it grew to quite a sizable amount. But that's a very good explanation, is why not let them sell our content and give them 100% commission? And and occasionally, we'll sell a course or a product or something like that, which offsets our cost for the overall system itself. But it's a great way to have cash flow because the content is really good.
But the idea is basically people want a community, they want a tribe, they want to be able to have like a group that meets once a week and that has lots of training as well as a way to make money, right? So once you join the club, then you have eligibility to promote the club. And because it pays 100% commissions, all it takes is one sale and you make your money back.
Yeah, I know the SociJam, SociSnap product, basically, for what I bought it. So for the price that I bought it from, I must have made 1,000% not even, it's got to be 10, 100, at least 1,000 times my money on it, at least.
Yeah.
It's such a good product for the amount of money people spend. Crazy. It's so simple, so easy, and it just makes you stand out. It's so good. Brilliant bonus.
Absolutely brilliant. And it's only getting better.
All right, guys, it's been a pleasure meeting everybody. Have a good night, okay?
Okay.
See you next week.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Let's get to the bottom line. Wouldn't you think it would cost at least $5,000 or more? Well, we're not asking for $5,000 or even $1,000 or even $500. Welcome to Intentional Mentoring. Intentional Mentoring will provide you with the tips, strategies, and marketing methods needed to take your business to heights you've never thought possible. There was a time when Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were just one marketing idea away from having Apple and Microsoft being the household names we know them to be today. The same could be said for Walmart, Facebook, and others. We believe the same is true for you as well. You could be one marketing method away from a breakthrough that'll catapult your income to the next level. Let us take you step by step. Keep this in mind. People are not born master marketers, but with proper training, they can become a master marketer and get paid accordingly. The question is this: do you want to wing it yourself, or do you want to have the pros empower you? Click the join button today and start your journey. Let us guide you. It's the start that stops most people. Don't let that start stop you. Get started now.